Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 14th of April. So Easter holidays are over. Everyone back to work? Perhaps not yet. So France announced that it's going to be mid-May before they stop their lockdown. It's not been agreed in the UK yet, but I would imagine that some countries will be extending these lockdowns for a bit longer yet. However, there is some positive talk in different parts of the world where the virus has been running quicker and already been through a lot of people. It's looking like they're sort of talking about unwinding the situation in these countries to a degree, and there's a sort of a touch of optimism through the markets, and well, we'll see those in some of these markets. But let's have a look at the usual pairs then, the usual suspects. And the euro this morning, well, after a bearish engulfing bar there yesterday, which I thought, I did wonder whether it was just going to roll over a little bit there when I looked at that last night. But looking at this, you come down to the 4 hours, you've got the high lows, higher highs through last week. Did manage a drift up most of the week there. Is it going to continue in that mode? It's a question, I suppose. If it starts breaking back down towards this weekly pivot and touches the weekly pivot, it'll have put a lower high in and possibly signalling the rest of the week doesn't look so good. Just looking in the shorter term here, 60-minute is just sitting on its daily pivot as I speak. It's sort of bouncing around that area. If it can put a holding bar in there and start pushing back above this bar in the next hour or so, maybe we've got to push back towards the yesterday's highs on the cards. However, a break of this level would, to me, put me in a more bearish mode, and I'd be looking maybe for that weekly pivot to be hit, and maybe more to the downside as we drift through the week. Pound wise, now the pound has had a sort of a better time in some respects than the euro there. It's been recovering slowly but surely, pitching through there, breaking those prior highs, edging its way up, and you can just see it's just like it's continued and continued. And well, is it got more in store for today? Possibly. It's as I say, it just looks like it's just going to continue running on this sort of modest trend upwards at the moment. So maybe there'll be opportunities if it does break down and break that prior low there. This morning's sort of 7 o'clock bar low. Maybe it will get back down towards it. It'll give a hint back towards that weekly pivot. Just looking at momentum and everything else here, it's reasonably strong relative to the last highs there, so maybe further upsides there. Dollar yen. So dollar yen strengthening as well against the yen strengthening against the dollar here. As the dollar softens slightly, say the optimistic cheer out there. It's just whether or not it's putting a bit of a bottom in here. Look like there's a bit of divergence on the 4 hourly time frame here, although not particularly the clearest. But actually looking at this, it looks like it's just trying to roll over here. There's a trend line that's running up the lows. It's looking like it's just trying to break that and roll over. We'll see what happens, but maybe we're in for a further shift onto the south side there. It's as I say, looking more positive at the moment for the yen. Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar, a bit like the pound in terms of its price recently. It's been pushing up there quite solidly. Bit of divergence sort of looking across the 4 hours here. Maybe it's got a bit of correction to be had, and the weekly pivot was sitting below, right the way down here. Where it's sitting at the moment, daily pivot untouched below, air kissed it a little bit before yesterday's bar, just sort of catching that sort of area. If it breaks back above this 60-minute to 8, maybe it's got further upside there. Just looking, no real weakness on the MACD here. bit of softer on the RSI there, but faster moving, but maybe we've just got a continuation through to be had there. Canadian dollar, that's well, it's carried on its downward trend here. 4 hours. It had a week before last, choppy, horrible week. Then last week basically drifted down, and this is really to me, it's a swing currency, not a day trading currency. It's too volatile or too spiky. Intraday makes a much better swing. And well, that swing to the downside may still have some legs there. It's sort of consolidating where it's sitting at the moment. You see it on this hourlies. It's had a couple of attempts back up towards its daily pivot there. Maybe it's later as more volume comes through in this market. We'll see it start continuing that downside, but it does look soft at the moment. Okay, quick look at oil, which maybe I would have expected more out of this after yesterday's agreements with cuts, although not obviously running up to $50 necessary straight away. But would have expected a bit more cheer out of the cuts. But of course, there's so much excess production and storage and everything else that it's not helping its case too much. But there may lay some hope. He says something between no hope and Bob Hope or something. Right, it's I mean, it's still bearish on the dailies there. I mean, it put a bit bearish pivot swing in yesterday, so still looking a bit bearish, but we might just be holding out here. The movement slowing down. I'm just looking at this MACD, it's sort of rising, and price, well, had been dropping, but it's a bit of divergence through. Maybe it will make a slight recovery. I think it will be slow, and it'll be dependent on the economy starting to pick up there for now, but so more of a longer term plan I have there. Okay, and the S&Ps seeing some cheer, not so much yesterday, but had been seeing some cheer, been recovering here. Higher low confirmed on the dailies last week. And well, the sort of general drift of this is high lows, high highs. There was some sort of divergency, sort of price action running at the highs there. It never pulled back. Let's have a look on the slower. Maybe if this makes a new high there, it'll be diverging and may just soften off a little bit. Coming back to 60-minute, well, it's all sort of positive here, and maybe we'll see a continuation upwards. Okay, not a lot in the way of news today. We've got G7 meetings being held all day. Normally they're in a specific country, but of course they're using satellite connections at the moment, and we'll be talking through other media, probably Zoom like everyone else. So G7 meetings all day there, and that's it really. So we'll just watch out for comments coming from that. Okay, not much else to be said. Have a great day. Bye for now.